Hey everyone, it's Miss Gubrood. Welcome back. We are on lesson 1-3 today, and we're going to be learning about rates. Now, that's a little bit different than we've been talking about our factor puzzles, but don't forget about your factor puzzles. You're going to practice them again in today's lesson, and we're going to hold on to them because they're going to be really important as we move towards the middle and end of this unit. But we need to take a step back for a second and learn about rates. So, I have got my presentation here for you, which I'm pretty excited about. I hope it goes well. All right, so there's our vocabulary. We've got some vocabulary words. First of all, rate. If you haven't, I got to move my face. If you haven't heard that word before, or maybe it won't let me. I guess it won't let me move my face. If you haven't heard rate, a rate is a speed at which something happens. Now, we use it and think about it all the time. We maybe just haven't heard that word rate. When we're talking about rate, we often use the word per to talk about how fast something happens or how frequently, like how often it happens. For example, you might have heard miles per hour. We drive in cars. How fast? We're going miles per hour. Dollars per pound. If you're at the grocery store and you're buying hamburger, you would buy it at so many dollars per pound of hamburger. Days per week. Like you might say, how many days per week do I have baseball practice or softball practice? Or heartbeats per minute. When you go to the doctor, they often will check your pulse, and that tells us how many times is your heart beating per minute. So that's rate, the speed at which something happens. Now, we are going to be talking about constant rate. Constant means doesn't change. So constant rate is when the same thing happens at the same speed, at the same rate, how fast it's going, all the time. But here's my question for you. How often does that happen in real life? Now, you might be saying, pretty often. Let's think. Do we usually drive at exactly the same speed the whole time we're in the car? Pause the video and think about that. Well, I hope you thought about when we're first starting, we're probably going slow. When we get out onto the highway, we're probably going faster, maybe 55. When we are passing another car, we probably go a little faster to pass them. If we get clogged up in traffic, we go slower. If we get onto the interstate, we go even faster. Sometimes if we think there's a squad car around, maybe a sheriff or a police car or a highway patrol, maybe we slow down. So do we usually drive at exactly the same speed the whole time in the car? No, there's no such thing as that. Do we usually run the exact same speed during the whole race? Pause and think about that. What did you think of? If you're running a race with friends, do you run exactly the same speed the whole time? I think not. I bet it takes a little bit for you to get into your super fast speed. Then you're probably booking it. But what happens when you start running uphill? Probably go a little slower. I know I do. What if you run downhill? Probably a little faster. What if it's getting to the end of the race and you're so close? You pour on the speed. You probably don't run the same speed the whole time. Now, what if we're collecting something? I like to collect rocks. You know that about me. If I go out looking for rocks on the beach, let's say, do I always find the exact same number of rocks? Probably not. So, constant rate means it happens at exactly the same amount of time every time. We're going to have to pretend that that's happening when we do a lot of our thinking about rate in this unit. We're going to have to pretend that we don't think that a lot of times things don't happen at a constant rate. A lot of times things happen at a changing rate, but we're going to pretend that things are happening at a constant rate. So be ready for that. Throughout the whole unit, we're going to pretend things are happening at a constant rate. Now, the last vocabulary word you're going to need to know today is rate table. Here it is. This is not the table that you sit at to eat supper. This is a rectangle with boxes that we put numbers in, and the numbers have relationships to each other. So in math, this is a math table, and we're calling it a rate table because we're going to say how often something happens. And notice that we're going to put labels on the top so we know what we're talking about. So now let's talk about today's lesson. All right, in today's lesson, we meet someone named Noreen, and she is trying to save money and put it in her bank. Do any of you have a bank that you save your money in? I brought one in today. Got it at Goodwill, as you can see. I forgot to take the sticker off. So here's my bank. You can see it's empty right now. You can hear it's empty right now. So Noreen has her piggy bank, and she's going to be taking all the money that she earns. Maybe she's babysitting. Maybe she's doing household chores. It's fall. Maybe she's starting to rake some leaves. But for whatever reason, she's putting her money in a bank. And the money that she's using is one of my favorites. Have you seen these? These dollar, let's see if I can get this thing to see it. Oh, there we go. They're dollar coins. These are my favorite. This is how I give my sons their allowance, in dollar coins if I can, because they don't take up as much room and you don't have to fold them and stuff as dollar bills. And they're coins, so they're very durable. So they're easy to keep track of. I love them. So she's collecting her money in dollar coins. So each time she gets money, she puts some in her bank. Let's see what that looks like. All right. So here's her bank. Each day she gets 3 $1 coins. I'm on page 9 in our math book, in our student activity book. Please do follow along with me. And as we do this lesson together, please write down things in your book. So Monday, first day, she gets $3. Maybe she's babysitting a younger brother, sister, or neighbor after school. And they say, every day you babysit, we'll give you $3. Okay, so the first day, she babysits, they give her $3. 1, 2, 3. She puts them in her bank. There's the save. She puts them in. 1, 2, 3. That's day 1. How much money does she have? Well, that is not a trick question. So I hope you're like, Miss Cooper, are you sure this is 6th grade math? She put in $3. She had $3. So on day 1, she had $3. I'm putting that into a table. But the next day, she babysits as well. So she gets another $3. She puts them into her bank. You can hear her other money is still in there. 1, 2, $3. After the second day, how much money does she have? Again, hopefully you're like, oh, yeah, this isn't the hardest lesson you've ever taught us, Miss Gubrud. On day 2, she now has $6. How did she get from 3 to 6? Well, she added $3. So I wrote that on the side. From day 1 to day 2, she added $3 more. So now she has 6. Okay. Now, the next day, she babysits again. They give her $3 more. She goes to her bank. 1, 2, 3. Adds in $3 more. Now, how much does she have? You might be seeing a pattern here. Now she's at $9. She had 3. She put 3 more in. Then she put 3 more in. So every day, notice how my arrow is showing every day she has $3 more. Day 4. Do you need me to show you the $3 going in, or can you make a prediction about it? I hope you can predict that if we had $3 more and we put them in, she would now have 12. So again, I'm going to put my little arrow and plus 3. We added $3 more. Here's those 3. There they're going in. That is a constant rate. Now, what about on the weekends? What if she's babysitting after school? Would she have gotten any money on the weekends? Probably not. See where that constant rate is kind of tricky? But we're going to pretend that every single day she gets $3. Doesn't matter if it's the weekend. What if she's sick and she doesn't babysit? We're going to pretend she does. We're going to do a constant rate. That means every single day with no change, she always puts in additional $3. Okay, as we continue on, we're on page 10 and 11 now in your book. It's going to ask us to fill out some more rate tables, imagining that we are saving money in the same way that Noreen's been saving. But in order for it to be a rate table, it has to be a constant rate. It can't change. It's got to be the same, $3, $3, $3. It's got to be exactly the same. Can't change. So let's take a look at one that I made up and see what we can determine about it. Okay, here's a rate table I made up. You can see my little terrible drawing of her little piggy bank. So what if on day 1, she puts in $2? Okay, day 1, she put in $2. Day 2, she has $4. How much did she add from day 1 to day 2? Well, that's not the hardest question ever, is it? She added $2. So from day 1 to day 2, she added $2. Now, from day 2 to day 3, look how many she has. Now she has $5. So how much did she add from day 2 to day 3? I hope you're thinking she only added $1. What about from day 3 to day 4? She had $5 in day 3. Now she has $7 in day 4. How much did she add then? $2. What about from day 4 to day 5? She had 7. Now she has 8. She added $1. You see a problem here? What about from day 5 to day 6? She had 8. Now she has 14. She added $6 that day. Is this a constant rate? It is not. Let's put a big giant Ghostbusters sign over that. That's not a constant rate. That's not a rate table because it's not happening at the same amount. She's not putting in $2, $2, $2, $2. She's putting in 2, then 1, then 2, then 6. That's not a constant rate. It's not a rate table. So if the book is trying to trick you and you find one where it's not a constant rate, you just stop right there, put a big old Ghostbuster symbol on it, say, not a rate table, go on to the next one. In order to be a rate table, it has to be a constant rate. We've got to do what Noreen did day after day after day, no matter what, the same amount. Doesn't have to be 3, could be 4, could be 5. Hopefully it's more, maybe it's 10. She's getting rich quick then, but it's got to be the same amount every single time. Good luck. See you next time.